We are live. Hello, everyone. Normally we have a little intro, but unfortunately, it looks like either I have absolutely ballsed it up, which is the most likely scenario, or there's no one in the background checking up on us as there usually is, Jack or Eddie or someone. But anyway, it is what it is. People very, very welcome as we had a valued member of the team to the show as well. You know, better late than never. Welcome, Welshmo, as you enter the building. But everyone else, welcome. Everyone else, welcome. Subscribers, viewers, listeners, watchers, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be. You are tuned in to another episode of Red Room, where we Liverpool fans get together as a panel. We start off as all friends and mates, but we could end up as enemies and foes. It hasn't happened yet, but you never know. The way Liverpool will fluctuate on a weekly basis, you know, it can happen. Emotions run high. How are we, Lou? How's your emotions right now? How's your emotions these days as a Liverpool fan?
You know what? I've chilled out a bit. I think beating Newcastle had a big sort of part to play in that. But you know what? I'm an optimist. I think that's been established. And you know what? We've signed a young centre back. We've just beaten Newcastle. At the minute, I'm not as stressed as I probably should be, but I'm content at the moment as long as things can keep going in the right direction. But I'm all right. I'm happy to be back. It's been a few weeks now, so pleasant.
Pleasant, yeah, he's all right.
He's all right.
We haven't caught up with Scouse Smo in a couple of weeks or few weeks. How you doing, Scouse Mo? Hope everything is well.
Yeah, I've been AWOL. I can't remember the last time I was on the Red Room. I've missed it. Missed talking to everyone. But yeah, I'm pretty similar to Lee, to be honest. Like, rather content, not happy, not sad, just in between. Like, it is what it is. I mean, you can be optimistic about a few things for this season, and I've still got my eyes on 2 trophies, and we're Liverpool Football Club, and we should always win a trophy, and we're still in 2 competitions. And yeah, just all my happiness lies on those 2 competitions for me.
Yeah, Lola, it seems to be a general consensus so far from the 2 panelists of a season of, I think the word is acceptance, and it's taken us, February now, to kind of accept where we are or where we're likely to be at the end of the season. Are you pretty much the same, or is there more fighting spirit inside you?
Well, there's a word that is strongly associated with our football club, and that is defiance. And I will always be defiant and not accepting of our fate. And just when I was starting to think, here we go, it's another 22, 23, you just write it off to a certain extent and try and see growth where you can. That Newcastle performance really took me by surprise. I just think it was by far our most complete performance of the season. The data reflected that. And then somebody who I very much trust in football, I don't know if you guys are aware of the transfer flow, Mr. Ted Knutson, shouting out another podcast on this, but he's absolutely brilliant, and he's someone I really trust. And he's been trashing us all season. And it was him that said, I think Liverpool have turned a corner, and I think their fans are going to have a lot of fun between now and the end of the season. So I'm defiant, Grizz. I'm not accepting our fate, and I think we've turned a corner.
I'm going to give my opinion after. It's only customary that I go through everyone one by one, and that leads me to Welshmo. How are you feeling? I know you have been feeling very despondent. You started off when I met you as one of the most positive Liverpool fans that I know. Enthusiastic. I don't know about defiant, but he was very, very positive, upwardly beat vibes about Liverpool. In the last 2 months, I've slowly seen a decline in that. Welshmo, where are you February?
Confused, I would say, is the best word. First of all, shout out to Lewis and Mo. I haven't seen you for a minute. Good to see you both. Lola, we saw each other last week. But yeah, it's good to see you both back. Confused, Grizz. I second everything that everyone says. But also from my perspective, that Newcastle performance, where's that been all season? That's the first confusion. Second confusion is that wasn't a slot team performance for me. That was more like a Klopp team performance. So did the players grab the scruff of the neck and say to themselves, do you know what? You know, we might fall behind United and Chelsea if we don't back up ideas. Let's play the way we're used to. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. That's why I'm confused. I'm confused about this roundtable release and interview. I'm confused about not assigning Gahey, but then getting Jacquet. I'm just confused. And I'm sure we're going to chop it all up in the next hour.
We are. You've actually done a brilliant, easy task for me to segue into probably letting the people know about the agenda. You've covered it all there. You're confused. There's acceptance from Lou and Mo, and Lola's defiant. We're going to tuck into the Newcastle performance. We're going to tuck into the Knights of the Round Table discussion that was on the Liverpool YouTube channel, I believe, and we'll tuck into the transfer window and if that's confusing and why was that so confusing. I guess we'll start off with the Knights of the Round Table. Lou, Liverpool released. I think they done one similar when I remember Klopp was on it when we won the title. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I can't remember the full cast. It was, but it was.
They did one with Robbo as well. I remember that one.
Yeah. So there is a series of these. This one was quite high caliber cast. You're talking the football director, Billy Hogan, and Arne Slot. People the cynics will talk about the timing the day after the transfer window, but it's not like as though this was recorded the day before. This is obviously in the pipeworks and sort of released when it was released. Did you watch it? How did you find it? Any messages? Did you read anything into it?
I mean, if you didn't read into it, I think you'd be sort of not naive, but there's a lot of things in there that you can look at and think, right, there's a deeper meaning to that, or that means two things. And I like bullet pointed a good few things. First off, I think Mo touched on it before we came on. Actually, it does feel very much like a sort of a PR stunt to a degree, because let's face it, this has been filmed in advance. We know that, but in the same breath, it's just so conveniently timed with all the reports coming out that Hughes and Slot apparently didn't get on. You know, all this debacle with transfers, Jacquet coming in but was missing on Gahey, not addressing the defensive issues immediately. The turmoil around Slot's tenure at Liverpool at the moment, like this is perfectly timed, and it comes as well just after an amazing win, which I think really does sort of lean into it that bit more. If it had come after the Forest loss, for example, or if it came after the Leeds draw, people would have been less accepting about it. But coming off of the back of a 4-1 win against Newcastle, it just feels also perfectly timed. But there were things from it I liked. There were things from it I didn't like. I did, to be fair, I did enjoy seeing that harmony. Now, whether people think that's sort of all orchestrated or put on, I don't know, but I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to the whole sort of, right, we're a sustainable model, we are planning for the mid to long term, there's a plan in place, you know, we trust each other. I get all that, but in the same breath, it seemed as though it was like Slot was there, and credit to him, he's got balls, basically sitting in front of his employers and saying, right, this is why I should still be in this job, this is why I think I've done a good job. It felt very much like they were sort of explaining why things have gone wrong to a degree. And I think this mantra, this message that came out where Slot said, look, I would rather see us play enjoyable football. I don't want us to play boring football. It just feels so tailored to what the biggest criticisms around them are at the moment. So it was an interesting insight to watch, but it did sort of feel very much as though, right, things seem bad, but they could be much worse. This is what we're doing to try and improve it, which to a degree I like, but it does feel very sort of reactionary to everything that's been going on in the media. And I'm hoping that this doesn't become the new thing. I would rather the performances speak for themselves more so than the sporting director and the manager having to come out and do a round table to explain why situations are bad and what the plan is. I'd rather the performances speak for themselves and allow us to see what the improvements are. I would rather see a team display that shows us that things are going in the right direction, more so than Billy Hogan coming out and saying, well, you know, we're a sustainable business model. We're going to sort of appease the fans by saying that we were able to keep you in Anfield and we've expanded it and, oh, you know, we've signed these players, and just let the performances speak for themselves, you know. And sorry, last thing on it, I did like that they did say, right, the manager controls the tactics and the team. So we're not very much falling into that Chelsea bracket of the ownership has some sort of input in what the starting 11 is, like we've been seeing recently with Rafinha and Maresca, who said so himself. So a very mixed reaction to the whole thing, to be honest. But it didn't do anything to majorly offend me or turn me off from anyone in particular, if you get what I'm saying.
No, fair enough. A good opening view of it all. The whole purpose of having the comments and chat open is we have a free-for-all, people giving their opinions and what they thought of the different topics that we're going to talk about. And that's the beauty of having a panel as well. Nobody likes a boring panel where agreements just everyone's nodding and agreeing. And I have a feeling, vaguely knowing some of your views on football and having listened and watched and followed you on your platforms, I think there's going to be a couple of different opinions on this panel, because I can see the reactions of some as we're talking. I'm going to come to you, Scouse Smo, because I know you're very, I don't know, you might disagree, but I think you're quite pro ownership and model and structure. What did you make of the whole thing? Are you with Lou in terms of you thought, or some people think it's a PR stunt, or do you think no, it was pleasant and it was invaluable?
For me, it was all PR, propaganda, scripted, just nonsense. I think the one point that Lou made, which was perfect, they brought that out just after the Newcastle game. Now think about it. This is pre-recorded. They could have dropped this at any given moment. And I'll ask the whole panel a question. When was the last time you seen our sporting director come out on a video and talk about the ongoing affairs? Doesn't happen. They had to come out and talk about why this squad's so imbalanced and try and give the Liverpool fans some hope about the future and that they've got good connection, a good relationship. I'll be honest with you, I watched like the first half of it or whatever, like about 15 minutes or so into it, and I just switched it off because I thought, this is just, what am I learning from this? Genuinely, it's just them trying to feed us like, oh, don't worry about this season. We're building, we're working hard together. Slot's the man for us. Richard Hughes has got a plan in terms of the players he wants to get in. Billy Hogan and FSG and everyone's on board. We're working in unison. And I think one word that they said was synergy. We're working in a synergy team. I was just like, what is this PR propaganda stuff I'm listening to? I want to see results on the pitch. I don't want to hear about you, man, and what you're doing, because this is very rare. Like, can anyone remember Michael Edwards ever coming out and doing an interview ever? Or
there's like no pictures of him anywhere.
I don't even know what he looked like. Yeah, I haven't.
Genuinely, he doesn't exist. And even Richard Hughes, to be fair, I think the only time we've ever seen him, or even Billy Hogan, to be fair, is like when something big happens, like Klopp's left or Slot's the new manager or etc. Like something quite significant. The timing of it was strange, like after the Newcastle game, and it didn't really fill me with anything. Like, it was just more a PR exercise, and I'm not one to fall for these PR exercises. I will believe what my eyes see on the pitch and where the team's heading and what trajectory it's heading in terms of the performances. If we can continue to play like the way that we did against Newcastle, then okay. But the thing is, I've seen that Newcastle performance so many times this season. How many false flags have we seen, lads? And Lola, how many false flags have we seen? Too many. And then the next game we just get slapped up. Albeit the next game's against City, and maybe that might be in our favour because the way they will play against us. But then next week we're playing against Sunderland. What are we going to do then? Oh, we won like 3 games in a row and then we get beat by Sunderland away at the Stadium of Light. I just want to see some consistency in this team. I want to see what happens going forwards in terms of like why we've signed this Jérémy Jacquet. Obviously, he's going to be a fantastic football player. Like, I trust this board. Like, genuinely, I trust Michael Edwards' judgments and Richard Hughes. The signings that they made in the summer speaks volumes for Richard Hughes. Isaac, big deal to make. Ekitike, another one that was huge. Wirtz. And even if you look at Kirkez, I wasn't his biggest fan at the beginning, but he shut me up recently. All our signings have been good, is basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah, all of these signings have been good, even Frimpong, who hasn't played much at right back, but he's been good. So I can trust them in terms of the players that they're going to get. But I just want to see where we head over the next 6 months. I don't want them to sit around on a round table telling us all will be good. Show me that it will be good.
Lola?
I disagree, guys. And you know, I really disagree, because I think all this time we've been slagging Slot, and rightly so at times. You know, when he comes out and complains about long balls and low blocks, it's very difficult not to be frustrated when week after week we're seeing the same issues. But, you know, he doesn't control the transfers. He has a say in the transfers and he doesn't control them. So we're talking about the imbalanced squad, and the people that are responsible for that, you know, are not the ones that are getting the butt of the criticism, where Slot is facing press conferences game after game, week after week, where he's having to explain other people's decisions. So for one, I'm delighted to see Richard Hughes in front of the camera, even if we think it was a PR stunt, which, you know, I agree with you. It's obviously designed to represent the club in a good light, but like, good that he's taking accountability, good that he's in front of the camera, good that he's speaking, good that we're getting the chance to see the relationship. So, you know, and of course, when they drop it and what they talk about is all going to be closely guarded, but that doesn't mean that it's a waste or not a good thing that they've done it. I think we need more accountability for these figures in the boardroom. And in Spain, for example, France, Germany, it's much more common that you see the sporting directors talking in the press. And I think that's important. I think it's misdirected of us at times to direct all our frustration towards Slot, which he's just the guy that's there. He's the one answering the questions. So I was very, very glad to see that. And then the other thing that really kind of got me in a more positive mindset was the Jacquet thing. I've never been Gahey's biggest fan. He is 6 foot. He's not an aerially dominant centre-back. I felt watching the Spurs game that you suddenly saw someone who is very used to being in a back three and not defending big spaces. And then suddenly when he's being asked to cover big spaces, he looks exposed. I don't think he was the one for us. I think it was a market opportunity in the summer. And yes, I would have liked to have seen us strengthen now. But the Jacquet deal, that is what Liverpool do really well. They find the next Ibu Konate. They find the next Van Dijk. And that is what, by all accounts, and what the data says Jacquet is. And then you're in a situation where Chelsea think they've got him, and all window we're hearing Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. And then at the last minute, we come in and we hear it's only Liverpool. So I think seeing Richard Hughes come out and be accountable, and seeing us go decisively for Jacquet in a way that looks like we've got a plan for not just the next 6 months, but the next 6 years of Liverpool Football Club, gives me confidence that, look, it's frustrating. Sometimes they are a bit passive, but my God, would I prefer to have this lot in charge than any of the clowns at Man United, Chelsea, or even boring FC around the corner at Arsenal. So I'm not going to knock it. I know what you guys mean. It was fluffy, but it's better that they're out there speaking than hiding. That's my thoughts.
Walshmore?
I agree and disagree with Lola. I'm on Camp Mo. I am. Everything that you said is spot on. Lola, to offer you a rebuttal, yes, I agree. I think we should see more sporting directors come out and take responsibility. However, what did he take responsibility for? What questions were asked to him? Nothing that we want to know. It was all boardroom and trying to douse fires of their relationships, and everything's cozy between me and Slot and the backroom staff. As fans, I'm speaking for myself. I don't care about that. I care about what happens on the football pitch. The biggest test for me is the eye test and how my football club is playing. So it was just like, it's not negativity from me. I get it. It was a PR piece. I understand why they tried to do it. I understand the timing of it. That's FSG historically have done this throughout their tenure in Liverpool. Time things to G up the crowd, gather momentum, to keep that momentum going. So I get it, but I just don't agree with it at all. What I wanted to get addressed wasn't addressed. Why didn't we sign Gahey? What's the future? Look, where's the future planning with VVD? X, Y, and Z. What happened with the striker scenario with Luis Diaz? What happened there? Because something happened there. Why didn't we get a replacement? Was the plan really to give Rio minutes, which he hasn't got? So many questions. There's loads more I had, but wasn't answered that I would have liked the sporting director to come out and answer, but he didn't. It was all scripted. It was all PR, and it was all a bit fake for me. and look, I get it. Fans will agree it's positive, great, but it didn't answer what I wanted to see. it felt like an episode of Traitors, and Billy Hogan was going to write down Slot's name on a card and go, "You're out." And every time Billy Hogan said football as well, I just automatically thought American football because he had an American accent. So it just, again, I've just been a confused person all week. I'm remaining
Welsh
confused.
Mo, doesn't the Jacquet signing explain not signing Gay?
Yes, but where's our help now? It's kind of contradicting. They've come out backing Slot, but they haven't backed him where we need it on the pitch. We need defensive reinforcements. We're one injury away. We're already playing midfielders in and right back. What happens if that midfielder, I don't want to say his name, but what happens if he picks up an injury? Then our midfield becomes weak. So we haven't addressed key issues. And look, we've still got a chance of turning this season into an amazing season. Not just Champions League, but in the league, we can still catch a Villa, I think. If we even had those points with the last minute goals we conceded, we'd be like 3 or 4 points off the top. So I see.
Well, Shmo, I was going to say, history shows us that whenever we have a season like this, they seem to just write it off in a way. Not write it off per se, but like they seem to like consolidate in the summer and then build again. And then we always notice the season after. So if you think the season we won the league in 1920, the season after with Virgil's ACL, we had no centre halves and Reece Williams and Matt Phillips. That whole season in January, we were like first. We could have pushed on in that January, signed players and potentially won a league. We never.
This is my biggest problem.
But then what happened the season after? What happened the season after?
We're digressing. We'll talk about we'll talk about the transfer window. I just want to give my opinion as the fifth member of the panel, because at the moment it seemed like Lewis is immune to it. He was not offended or not overly happy about it. Neutral position. Lola enjoyed it and has a positive outlook on it. And the two Moles are very anti it. I am in the Lola camp. I felt good after watching it. I didn't have any problem with anything that they said. I didn't expect to answer Mo's questions, the two Mo's. I didn't expect answers or questions to my answers to my questions, because that wasn't the purpose of this. This wasn't a question and answer session, guys. I don't know why you expected your answers of transfers to be. Okay, Mo. Okay, watch Mo.
On the pitch is what I was saying.
There's going to be topics that fans want, but this has got nothing to do with topics or current. This is an overall view. You have to remember what the purpose of this was. Of course it's PR. Let's not kid ourselves. Of course it's PR, because that's what the purpose of a YouTube channel is, to promote yourselves in a good light. We all have our platforms. That's what we all do content or talk about, sort of, project our opinions in a good light, in our way of thinking. I didn't feel, I'm a grown-ass man. I've seen everything. I know it's scripted to a certain degree. And I know it's about creating bonds and feeling good about themselves, and sort of all the rumors and circulating stories about he doesn't get on, he's got no problem. And they had to sort of put that out there. I'm critical of it. I'm not praising it. I felt good after watching it, some of those pictures and some of those memories. And I genuinely believe we have probably the best, one of the best ownership models in Europe. And this was the ownership model telling us about how they operate and how they plan to operate. And it's frustrating as a fan who watches Man City operate the way they do, or PSG, or whoever the other clubs, flashing money left, right, and center. It's not always about that. It's literally not always about that. We're so transfixed with just transfers. Just transfers. A successful club has to have a connect from the top to bottom. And that's what they try to portray. It may not be there. I agree there's a disconnect. But they tried to portray that there's a connection from the top to bottom still and moving forward. And, fair play. But listen, hey, at the end of the day, we all have different opinions and we all are embroiled in our own, whether we like to accept it or not, agendas and narratives and way of looking at our football club. We're going to go on to sort of the transfer window, because we haven't had a discussion since the transfer window closed or shut or slammed, depending on your mood. How you slammed the transfer window if it wasn't good. or you just close it if it was a good one. You just close the transfer window. Lou, a sense of frustration, I guess. I think we're probably all going to agree in this segment. A sense of frustration and sort of why didn't we improve the current playing squad? Any reasons? Any thinking?
No. So I've been very vocal about how we not bringing in anyone now is a gamble, because let's face it, if we don't get Champions League, if we don't win any sort of trophy or silverware, there's going to be serious ramifications in the summer. And the thought that we didn't go out and sign someone, especially with Bradley now being rumoured to be out until spring of 2027, I think was reported today. Frimpong's out injured. Konate's only got a couple months left. Van Dijk is 35 at the end of the season with 1 year left. We needed to recruit. We needed to bring people in. That being said, the Jacquet deal is a great deal in the context of next summer we are going to go through a myriad of changes in that squad. Gomez is probably going to go. Konate, for my money, is essentially gone already. You've got no right backs. Van Dijk last year his contract. There's no guarantee Salah's going to be around. There's no guarantee Robbo's going to be around, given everything that's just gone on with Tottenham, and he's in the end of his contract as well. So we've started future-proofing, and as much as I would have loved us to bring someone in this season, because let's face it, we're sort of putting all our eggs in one basket and saying, right, Champions League, got to make a big run in that. Still the FA Cup, we've got to get top four. It's a big risk not having those reinforcements behind Van Dijk and Konate at the moment. But next summer, we're going to have to spend so much money to try and rebuild from the stage that we're going to be at, because we're going to be worse off than we are currently, in my opinion. So we've brought someone in who can be a long-term fix. And no doubt in the summer, we are going to spend more money again. But if it comes at the cost of us not making Champions League this season, then I won't be happy with it. I keep going back and forth. I'm trying to keep a positive mindset about it. We needed defensive reinforcements. That was obvious. We definitely needed the right back. But if we can get it done and they can look back on it and say, right, okay, fair enough, we've made something happen with what's been going on so far. And then we go into the new season with Jacquet coming in and we have a plan for how we're going to build. Now that we know Bradley's not going to be here, we're going to go out and sign a right back, or we're going to go out and sign a number 6 with Endo probably leaving. I'll be fine with it. But that's with the benefit of hindsight. Going into it this season now where we are, I can't see much sense in then. Because don't forget, we signed Leone in the summer. And then we went for Gahey anyway, so we knew we were short in that position to begin with. We've then lost Leone, we've lost both our right backs, and we've still not gone out and signed anyone for the immediate. You could have done both. Champions League qualification, if we don't get that, no amount of roundtable videos or PR stunts or whatever you want to refer to it as is going to fix that problem, because so many players are probably going to leave in the summer, and not having Champions League to get that pull in is going to be massively a huge detriment to us going into the new season. So I'm happy that we've put one eye on it for next season, bringing in Jacquet, but we needed someone now. We needed someone who could add a bit of defensive structure to that back line, which is no doubt going to go through more injuries before the end of the season while we try and push for top 5 and a Champions League run and an FA Cup run, which you need a big squad to be able to do.
Scousmore, have we jeopardized our chances of Champions League qualification? Because I agree with Lewis, it will be a disaster. Well, we all know this, it will be a disaster if we don't get, or do you see us qualifying for Champions League with the current personnel we have? Are you positive about that aspect, or do you think we've totally messed it up by not reinforcing?
I wouldn't say we totally messed it up. We've still got a chance, but I'm really worried, I'll be honest with you. Like, we're playing an attacking midfielder at right back. We've got only 2 centre-backs in the squad right now. If anything happens to one of those 2 centre-backs, who's going to play their Endo? I'm worried, honestly. I'm very worried. We needed to, as Lou perfectly summarised, they knew in the summer that we were short because they already got Leone and they were trying to get Gahey. So they knew that they were short in the summer. And then you've lost Leone, and then Gomez, you can't rely on them. So you've only got Van Dijk and Konate left. We needed to get someone in. I thought that signing, the one that we was linked with, Gertrude, would have made a lot of sense if we would have got him in as early as possible. He could play right back, he can play centre back, he can play DM, he can cover a lot of positions. So, like, why did we leave this till like almost the last week of the transfer window? Why, if he made so much sense, a lad with Premier League experience who's been managed by Slot, who was Slot's previous captain, it just made so much sense. If we would have got someone like him in, I would have felt a lot more confident. But right now, I'm scared because although Konate, alhamdulillah, he's been completely injury-free this season. We know his injury record in the past. What happens if Konate picks up something? Are we going to be watching Van Dijk next to Endo with then Szoboszlai right back? I know Frimpong's back soon, but it's just nervy, and they've taken a huge gamble because if we don't get top 4 after spending all that money that we did in the summer and being Premier League champions, that is catastrophic. Like, let's not put it anywhere else. Like, it's going to be... let's not even talk about how bad it will be. Genuinely, it will be the worst thing ever. It's just very frustrating to see. Like, why couldn't we get this Jacquet maybe in January? If we had to pay a little bit extra, couldn't we just pay the little bit extra? Maybe got him in. I'm not sure. Maybe there's like an agreement in his contract where he has to stay until this summer. But because even when we do get Jacquet, I still personally think we're short. By all means, Konate might leave in the summer, even though I hope he doesn't, because it just makes sense for him to stay. Because like Van Dijk's got 1 more year left in his contract. Let's not forget, he's 35 years old, coming off a World Cup. He's not going to be here forever. So next year might be his last year in his contract. If we could keep Konate, he could be our senior centre-back in the team with a Jacquet, a Leone, and then a 4th centre-back that we can hopefully buy, whether that be like a Bastoni or a Schlotterbeck. I'm talking someone of that calibre, like top centre-back that can eventually replace, Van Dijk. So I just still think we're short on centre-backs, and we didn't even bring in 1 centre-back in January, and we're waiting until the summer. It's just scary. And then on top of that, I feel like we still need a lot more to do in the summer in regards to our attack. Salah might not be here. We need to bring in a right winger. We've all been frustrated with Gakpo this season. Hopefully we can improve in that area. And then, in my opinion, we need to improve in midfield as well, because certain McAllister, who I personally believe has been our worst player this season, maybe it's time we can upgrade on him. So it's just so much to happen, and I just don't know whether they will do all of this in one summer or if it's possible to do it in one summer. So I hope and pray that the players that we've got now are okay. Frimpong come back as quickly as possible and continue the form that he was showing. And hopefully we can just get into that top 4 and try and take one of those trophies home.
Lola, it seems like FSG don't like spreading their payments like most of us probably like doing, actually, except Welshmo, because you can afford to pay everything in one installments. They like to do everything in one go, it seems like. I couldn't agree more with Mo, actually, because it is worrying. We tend to either go for it, all-out attacks, so to speak, rather than just sort of accumulate. Surely we should have accumulated a defender or 2 now, so therefore less needs to be done in the summer, because now the onus and the pressure will be to do so much. I agree with all the positions that Mo said as well. We know we done X amount last summer. We could have reinforced this summer. It has been a weird window.
I mean, the Gertruda thing is the really baffling thing, because
yes,
he was the solution. He was the solution. Like everyone says, could fill a variety of positions, Premier League experience. But what I found weird when the news first broke about it is, what was ever in it for Sunderland? He's on loan at Sunderland. They took him with the expectation of having him for the season. I can kind of see what's in it for Leipzig if maybe we were guaranteeing a bigger fee at the end, or taking more of his wages to pay. But I never understood what was in it for Sunderland. So it struck me as a weird deal to try and do.
Sorry, there was something that came out apparently that we were willing to pay what they'd paid for him so far and pay off the rest of the loan to apparently make it worth.
So they would have just been free.
Yeah,
I guess just like where they are, they're 4 points off top 5, right? They're, on the brink of potentially a season that absolutely no one saw coming, even with the financials that you say, Lou. I just think it felt like a hard deal to do. So if it's something you really want to do, you start it off right at the beginning of January.
No, sorry to interrupt. I think we only gave them 5 days as well to go and find a replacement. And in how are you going to find a replacement in 5 days? Yes, Liverpool Football Club, the big clubs, yes. But I'm no disrespect to Sunderland. I'm a huge fan base, sleeping giant. But it's harder for Sunderland to attract a player in 5 days than it is for Liverpool, for example.
Yeah, the biggest issue is that Gertruda is not a generational super special player that like everyone wanted. He's a good player who would have filled a role in our squad. He's not the only one that could have fit that criteria. He's far from the only player. So the thing that is frustrating me is I'm really positive about the Jacquet signing. I also think it might mean Konate could stay. I don't know if that's just me being overly optimistic, because apparently he was part of convincing Jacquet to come. I would find it strange that he would take such a big role in negotiations if he knew he wasn't going to be here. But the Gertrude thing is just so weird because, like everyone says, we went for Gahey knowing that we were short, having already signed Leone. Leone's now injured. And then we go for Gertrude, again, an admission that we're short. How can he be the only right back come centre back in the whole of Europe and world football that was appropriate for us this window? So I think if I'm going to be negative, that's where I'm negative, is surely there must have been someone else. And why did it have to get to the very end of the window to make that decision that we might need someone?
Yeah, I knew this segment would be absolutely simple and straightforward. Finish with you in this segment, Welshmo. Baffling, right? Confusion, as you said earlier, because this was confusing, this window. But I'm going to bring a different angle for your opinion. Do you think it's related to the coach and manager scenario in terms of the uncertainty? But then again, from what they said, I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion? I don't want to give you any.
I was going to, everything Mo and Lola says, brilliant. And Lou, I was going to come with a different angle anyway, Rebuttal to Lewis and Mo. Yes, I agree. We need loads of players in the summer, yeah? I've heard fans say this year, one of the reasons we've struggled is we've had such an overhaul in player profile, a transitional season. So I'm just throwing it out there, do we expect another transitional season next season then, if we need to buy 6 or 7 players? Are we accepting that as a fan base? Or we're not going to challenge next season because we've bought 6 more players? So that's my first question as a rebuttal. The second question, I feel this is bad planning by the owners of the club catching up on us. Now, they will say to us in the roundtable, even said, we never spent in a couple of seasons ago, and we never spent for 2 seasons, which has allowed us to accumulate and spend heavy this season. No, that's a mistake in my opinion. We should have started dropping in and refreshing the squad those 2 seasons ago, because we're leaving it all in one hit straight away, and it's unsustainable to do it that way. And bad planning has now caught up to us, because every season, and I feel like I say this every season as a Liverpool fan, every season we are left short. Why are we left short every season? Come on, tell me this. We spent 400 million on brilliant signings, but we replaced players. We didn't add to the squad. Arteta, I'm sorry to use him as an example. For 6 years, they backed him, but they've been adding. Sooner or later, they're going to get questioned for PSR. I get it. But we never added. We replaced. And now we're getting caught up on that. And I generally think it's all down to bad planning and being silent in those 2 windows when we never spent. It's now catching up on us. That's my other view I want you to think about.
No mute, Grizz.
You're on mute.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to stay on mute when it comes to me. But no, fair enough. I see the frustration. I heard the frustration in Mo's views there, and I think we all share that. There is a bit of a confusion and sort of worry, panic. Have we got enough, especially with the situation of the age, Robertson and Virgil, and injuries, obviously, to Bradley, Frimpong, and Gomez situation? Have we got enough? But we played Newcastle last game of football, and I had no idea, Lola, that all these great stats people suggested or made the suggestions that they made. But I kid you not, guys. I kid you not. I swear to you, I said it on straight away as soon as I saw that. From minute 35 to 90, I said that was the best performance of the season. I didn't need no stats, numbers, pressing stats, all these people that came out with the brilliant work they do. I've got confidence in my own ability to analyze a game of football, and I thought that was the best performance. I know Real Madrid, I know Atletico, I know Arsenal away, I know all the great performances of the season so far. But that one was, that game encapsulated, I think, the whole season. In 90 minutes of football, that was Liverpool this season. because the first 30 minutes was a horror show.
Yeah.
Like it's been. And then we saw glimpses of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. For that 15-minute spell, that before halftime, that was Jurgen Klopp. And then in the second 45, we saw Arne Slot's Liverpool. So for me, it encapsulated a bit of everything where we are right now. And I wanted to touch on a few individual performances, or I don't want to go through the whole game because it's gone now, but I wanted to ask you guys to speak on an individual from the game whose, performance really sort of pleased you. Lou, I'll start with you.
Whose individual performance was that?
Yeah. Pick a player.
God, mate, how long have we got? You know what? I'm gonna give someone who I've given flack to in criticism. I think Konate that match absolutely 100% stood out massively. He was top quality mentally. Like let's just get it facts. No one knows what was going through his head at that match. Having to come back from the loss of his father to then get thrown straight in against Newcastle, put in a man of the match standout performance for me personally, and to get that goal and have that euphoric moment of being able to celebrate in front of the cop and have that sort of emotion. Watching Alisson run up to him at the end, it honestly, it touched me so much, and I'm so happy for him that he was able to sort of not exercise his bad performances from early this season, because they aren't going anywhere. People are still going to bring them up, of course. But in terms of making a statement, not with coming out and having to say, right, we're united, we're together, we'll get through this, but to go out there and put in that level of performance, which reminded me so much of Konate just before the Real Madrid game last season, when he was arguably the best centre-back in the team ahead of even Van Dijk at that point for that small period of time, was quality. He was so good in the air. Every pass of the purpose. He was great at tracking back. He covered right back when he needed to. He had a midfielder as a makeshift right back next to him. You would have never known. You would have never known that it was Dominic Szoboszlai having to drop in at right back to cover that area. He carried that match. And I'm so made up that he was able to put in that performance. And for me, he was absolutely imperious. And I'm made up that he got that moment to celebrate. And like, it was the Titi Kamara goal. In that, do you remember the way he scored? He broke down in tears on his knees. It just felt destined to happen, and I'm so happy that he got that performance.
I think you're on mute again, Grizz.
Scout Smoke.
Yeah.
Player.
Oh, can I just add on Konate as well? Like, it's breaking my heart that he's going to leave in the summer. Like, especially after that game. Like, please don't go, Konate. Just sign a contract, whatever it is. Just stay. Like, the connection between the players. I hope he does.
I wanted to say he's staying. I'm positive he's staying.
Let's not forget, he's been awful this season. We can all accept that. He has been bad. But on his day, he's one of the best centre-backs in the world.
But Mo, can I just ask? Nobody knows what his father passed away from.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll come up.
No,
is there a case to say that the last 4 months his performance has dipped because his father could have been terminally ill and we didn't know about it? Like,
maybe, I don't know. But like, if we go off like last season, he was one of the best centre-backs in the world when we won the league. And that Champions League final in Paris, he was our best player on the pitch. We know how good Konate is. And if we can keep Konate and he's fit and firing next season, honestly, we've got a superstar. We've got a world-class centre-back. But I want to talk about his French teammates. Probably taking the easy option here because I love him. I want to talk about Hugo Ekitike.
Low-line motion to say, damn, you got there. But
I'm so sorry because I love this player. I genuinely love him so much. I've got to the point where I'm just so excited to see what he does next. I can't wait to watch a Liverpool game just to see 22 Ekitike with the Panadol name. I'm just like, I'm so excited about him, his Instagram posts and his energy and giving it to the Newcastle fans and saying, these are my lot, these have got my back. Everything about him, but then it's not football that he plays. The connection he's built with Vert, and I'll let someone else talk about Vert more. The connection he's built with Vert on the pitch, everything, that goal, oh my God, that second goal, the way he ran that channel from that Kirkes pass and the audacity to finish it like that. Have you seen a finish like that, boys? Like, when was the last time you seen a finish like that? I know it was kind of like a toe poke, but it was just like, what was his brain thinking? It was just like
Torres-esque.
It was Torres-esque. Yeah, we've seen the clips. It's just
I'm old enough. I'm old enough to remember Romario. That was the Romario.
100%.
Yeah.
Mo, you need to Google Romario and watch his finishes. That was as Romario as you can get. That's why I said real ones will know. I tweeted straight out as soon as I saw that game. I said real ones will know that was the Romario finish.
It's interesting you say that because I've seen a lot of comparisons to like Romario, and obviously I'm not old enough to remember Romario, so I need to look him up. But wow, man, Ekitike. Honestly, I don't think I fell in love with a player this quickly. Like from the very beginning,
Wow.
I love him so much, and it's not just like I think he encapsulates everything a Liverpool player likes, a Liverpool fan likes. We like a player with confidence, with good ability, who enjoys playing football. He's always running the channels. He had an opportunity to score a hat-trick, which was all his making. It was just a hopeless ball that just got pumped into the channel, and he just sprinted towards it. Dan Burn just got confused. He got the ball, and he probably should have finished it. But
it was the worst finish out the lot.
It was the worst finish out. It was the worst finish out the lot. He probably should have took it with his left foot. Maybe he needs to work on his weaker foot. Maybe, I don't know, but that will come. He will get that hat trick one day in front of the Kop. And lads, we've got to. If he's not a superstar now, then best believe we've got a superstar for like the next few years at Anfield, and we're just so blessed and privileged to have him. He's so good. Good on the ball, good in the air. There's nothing that he's not good at. The only criticism I have of the lad is that he always seems to tire after 60 or 70 minutes. Yeah. And it's really frustrating. I don't know what it is. Maybe he needs a good pre-season in the summer to like fix that fitness issue that he's got. And then next season we can see him play a full 90. That's the only criticism I have of him. But if you can sort that out, genuinely, we've got probably one of the best strikers in the world.
Someone said to me that he, and it did sort of make me chuckle. They said he plays like Nunez, but he can actually finish. Like he's just energy, and he's proper. Like he gets in behind, and he's good in the air, and he links up. And I was like, you know what? I can't even argue with it. Like,
I want to have words with that person. If you think Nunez has got technical ability Ekitike has, my God, football's not for you.
It's not me. I'm telling you now.
Ekitike and touch and technique is a million miles away from Nunez. Was literally kick and rush player. Nunez was a kick and rush. But anyway, let's not look backwards. Let's look forwards. Ekitike reminds me much more of, dare I say it, you know, a cross between, I don't know, man. Like,
can I chuck in a name? I might sound crazy. Maybe not in terms of the play style, but he reminds me of Firmino. Like the way I loved Firmino is the way I kind of love Ekitike. Like the way he plays with such personality and passion on the pitch. That's what I'm trying to say. Like not in terms of the way they play, but the way they carry themselves on the pitch, the celebrations, the cool looking hair, the smile, all of that kind of stuff. I don't know if anyone agrees.
He's got a certain aura about him, and we love that about him. And when you can add aura to actual talent and then actual output, you've got a world superstar. Like we have potential world superstar. I still say there's a few nominations for Lola and Welshmo to get stuck into. Don't give up. We're just going to go through 2 super chats before, so I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to think about it. Emite, help. Anyone? Yeah. He sends in a super chat. He or she sends in a super chat and says, "Who?
Emetegbe.
Emetegbe.
Emetegbe. Ekitike.
Emetegbe. Sounds like an Italian footballer. What's going on?
Oh, why did I ask? Shut up, all of you. Anyway, individual brilliance than tactics, he or she says, in response to sort of I guess all of our suggestions. That was a brilliant performance, team performance. Banter is fine. It absolutely is. Big up yourself. Thank you very much for this donation. He says, don't think that was much of a Klopp team performance, to be honest. But what I saw was us willing to mix it up and be more vertical from the off. No surprise it was coming from right back. What does RHS stand for?
Right-hand side.
Specifically, right-hand side from Szoboszlai. We know. We don't need to comment on him. Or maybe we do. Lola, anyone else you had in mind that you want to speak on?
Well, I could speak all day about the combination of Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike. And I don't know if maybe I could cheat a bit and talk about the combination, but I'm not going to cheat, Grizz, because I have too much respect for you. So I'm going to talk about Ryan Gravenberch, who this season, oh, there we go, Liverbird 5140 has taken the words straight out of my mouth. He's not been at his best this season, and he's had flashes, but I think it's very easy to forget like just how good this player can be. And it's when he starts to make it look easy just to turn into space, when apart from scoring a goal, turning into space like that and creating space for yourself and receiving passes under pressure, that's probably like one of the hardest things to do. And it got to a point second half where every time he received the ball, he was turning on it and driving. And I just thought it's a timely reminder across the pitch. And as everyone said, there's so many players we could mention, but it's a timely reminder that these boys are good. This is a quality group of players. And, you know, like you say, Grizz, it doesn't matter about the data when you can see it in front of your eyes, the quality that these players possess. And I think watching Gravenberch play like that was a reminder to me that, like, for some reasons that we understand and some reasons we may never understand, they have not been good enough this season. But my God, is this group talented? And, you know, if they can play like that, or even 75% of that between now and the rest of the season, then it shouldn't be a problem achieving Champions League and hopefully, you know, a run in the cup as well.
That leaves you with your choice of player that you'd like to praise, because it's not often we've had a chance to heap praise on our players this season. So let's,
I mean,
you know,
I was going to, all the players I wanted to praise have all been mentioned already, but
I'm so sorry.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, I'll make up for it. I'm saying Emi Tegby. No, I didn't go first. I like going last. Emi Tegby is at the nail on the head again. Kirkes for me. I know Mo's shaking his head, but
Bates. Someone has to talk about Bates.
Words. Lola mentioned Words. Everybody knows how great the link up is with Words. Words is amazing. Everybody knows Words is amazing, and we're going to mention his name every single game from now on.
And do you know what? Yeah. Do you know Sunday he's going to announce himself to the world? Like, we know how amazing he is, but he's going to have a superstar game on Sunday.
He already has, and I think that the assist from Mo was actually Mo handing over the baton to him, because they celebrated and it showed a bit of love, and I thought, oh, that could be a nice little pass over there. Mo's finally understood that he's the main man. I'm not the main man anymore, and that's what I took from that. But Moreno, as you call him, Mo, he's not anymore. He'll have to lose that name. Kirkes, the last 4 or 5 games, one-on-one defending, they had to take Anthony Lanka off because he got pocketed so badly. And Saka got taken off. He got pocketed so badly. All these wingers, he's pocketed them. Yes, he goes to ground and X, Y, and Z, but in the last 4 or 5 games, he's really come on his own, in my opinion. So, yes, Wirtz is going to get praised all season, but someone like Kirkes, who deserves a bit of praise for his performances, I think deserves a mention.
I like that. I didn't expect Kirkes to be the other player mentioned, but I do like that. Thank you very much for all your input. Thank you very much for Liverpool for putting a bit of a smile on our faces. Can we continue, please, on Sunday? This was usually a title-defining game, wasn't it, guys? We do miss those title-defining games against Manchester City. I don't know how we're feeling, but it's an important game. They're obviously coasted. They're winning 3-0. They've absolutely coasted through this semi-final against Newcastle. Eddie Howe, what an awful, weird season they're having. Not awful, weird season. But anyway, I digress. Sunday, are we winning, Lou? How are you feeling?
I think last time we played City, I went into it saying we were going to batter them. that went out the window right quick. I don't know, because we've been in this position before where we've had a great win, Aston Villa, and then we beat Real Madrid, and then we come back straight to reality to City. We had the Inter Milan win, and then we drew with Leeds, I think was the following game. So it's really difficult to say. But what I will say is this City side is there to be got at. And if we go into this game like we did last time with the mentality of we're playing Man City of old and we sort of roll over and expect them to dominate the ball, they will turn us over. We've got to go out there, be the aggressors. We've got to actually put our foot down and say, right, I don't care who it is. I don't care what the team is. This is not the City of old under Guardiola. This is an aging City side with inexperienced players in the back line, a midfield that feels physically weak, and they rely very much on Haaland's attack up front with DK. With obviously Semenyo chips in every now and then. He's been doing great, of course, and Cherky. But we can't let that stop us. Like we showed against Newcastle and like we've shown in a few other matches in the past, if we get out there with intensity and try to beat them, we can do it. I'm going to sort of hedge my bets and I'm going to say we 2-2 draw. But as long as we just don't roll over and let them have us, we have a really good chance, especially at Anfield. And City, particularly on the wide areas, seems to be where there's place to exploit. Tottenham did it time and time again in that second half. Tottenham in that second half battered them. They've got good players, but the system just doesn't feel right. They feel very sort of ran down. They feel as if they don't know what they're meant to be doing. This is our chance to really get at them and hurt them. And as painful as it is, us, if we do beat them, I think this hands the league to Arsenal. So we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. Let's be honest. But if we can go out there and beat them, but I'm just going to go for a 2-2 draw just to sort of play devil's, just to sit on the fence a bit more, I think.
2-2 draw. I'm surprised. Okay, no, fair enough. Scousemo, are we doing anything on Sunday to further enhance our mood?
I mean, just exactly like Lou, I was so confident last time before we played them at the Etihad.
I remember. Do you remember we done the prediction? And I said, I don't know what planet you lot are living on, predicting 4-1s and etc. etc.
Let's just say I've learned my lesson.
You rattled everyone, by the way. We were all like, we're going to win, and then you're like, told you so. We all just basically told you that.
I was the only one said we're going to get smashed. But anyway.
Do you know what? I learned my lesson, and I won't be as confident this time. And do you know what? As Lou explained, there's been other false flags this season, so you never know what to expect on Saturday. I mean, on Sunday. But going off City recently, they haven't been too convincing. Haaland's been on a bit of a goal drought recently as well. He hasn't scored a goal in forever, and I don't think he's ever scored at Anfield. Touch wood, he doesn't again on Sunday as well. It'll be interesting to see Semenyo if he plays on the right hand side, because I know we just talked about Kerkez, but like Kerkez's first game against Bournemouth really did do him over in that match, to be fair. So like, will he put Semenyo on that side and maybe like put Shaky on the left? I don't know. That might be an interesting thing for them to do. Or will they exploit the fact that
I'm sure Shaky's injured?
Is he?
I heard something like that. Maybe wrong. I don't know.
I'll find out for you.
I think Bernardo Silva is, because he's not playing today.
Bernardo Silva's injured, yeah. Shaky's not injured.
Okay, but either way, I think it's not this Man City team that we used to go toe-to-toe with over so many title chasers in the past. It's not that same City team. It's a team that can definitely be got at. That second half against Spurs, I was watching the full game and I just couldn't believe what I was watching. Like, they just completely crumbled from a 2-0 lead. How often do you used to see a Pep Guardiola team drop a 2-goal lead? Like, against the Spurs team, who are just not that convincing as well. So part of me is thinking that we can potentially get something out of this game, but it just depends on what Liverpool team shows up. Is it going to be the team of the first 30 minutes against Newcastle, or the team the last 60 minutes against Newcastle? Because we've seen so many different versions of this Liverpool team this season. If we're up for it and we can play like we did in the second half, or like the last 60 minutes of that game against Newcastle, then I fancy us to beat them. But if we play against them with fear and let them dictate the ball, and we just drop off them and we just let them attack us and keep the ball, keep the possession all day, then I never like to say that we'll lose at Anfield. I don't think those words can ever cross my mouth. Maybe we'll draw, but if we go at them and we press them hard and we show Gahey this is the club that he should have signed for, and we show Semenyo, like, yeah, this is Anfield, mate. This is like, you know what I mean? You're not going to do all those tricks and whatever against Kerkez. Kerkez is going to have you in your back pocket this time. Then maybe we can get away with a win. So we'll see. It's just one that I really can't call because maybe PTSD from this season.
Lola, both of these cowards can't make a call. First two cowards. Can you make a call?
I'm feeling really confident, because like everyone says, that second half against Spurs was just so poor. The toilet bowl, as I like to call it, or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, is not an intimidating place
harsh.
It's just not, they got back in the game, but what was striking to me is once it went 2-2, City were not able to do anything. They were not able to regain control of the game. They never were able to exert a continuous period of pressure. And they do have special players. Semenyo is a special player. Shirky, slightly terrifies me because he's really, really, the way he dribbles is just terrifying. Doku, if he's fit. But I just don't fear, it's the defence. I don't fear the defence. I don't think you can, Gahey may be a very good player. In fact, he is a very good player, but you can't just throw him in and expect him to suddenly hold it all together. I felt he looked very vulnerable defending big spaces. But honestly, the biggest thing that gives me confidence is we've gone toe-to-toe with much better City sides than this. And we've had very special players. But what we haven't had is this freakish, almost telepathic communication between two players that we have with Wirtz and Ekitike that is building week by week. And it's so special that you could see the Newcastle players when the second goal went in, they're sort of throwing their arms up and being like, what do we do? What do you do? Eddie Howe shaking his head. What do you do against players this good? So I just think that a combination of City's vulnerability and that X factor that we have, we're not predictable. It's not that same front three of Mane, Salah and Firmino. This is something completely different. This is a new Liverpool. Anfield's going to be hot. I'm going to be there. Whenever I go, we usually tend to win. Touch wood anywhere around you. So, yeah, I'm feeling very confident.
Welsh Mo, are you there Sunday?
I'm here, yes. Like I said, last time we were all confident and we all got served a bit of humble pie. I don't know how I feel about it. I think if we play like Newcastle, we'll win. And that's the only way I can see us getting a result. So I am going to try and remain positive. I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool.
I think we're going to smash them. I told you they're going to smash us in the first game, and I was right. And I'll be right again this time around. I think we're going to smash them. It's going to be maybe not reflective in the score, because that can happen, right? But we're going to be dominant from the off. And I hope Mo's, what Scouse Mo about sort of Gehi and Semenyo really feeling like, yeah, we missed out on this. I really hope the crowd carries on and continues. But for the crowd to continue and carry on that vibe and the mode, the players have to show something, of course. The players have to show the endeavour, the energy, the pressing, the dynamism that's associated on usual games against Man City at Anfield. And I think my prediction is, I'm predicting, when I say comfortable as you can against a Man City team who has still got great, amazing players. But I think we're going to be dominant, guys. I think we're going to have a very happy Red Room next week to discuss a resounding or any type of win, but in my opinion, a resounding win against Man City. That's an end to another great episode. I've really enjoyed it. Time's flown, man. I usually try to restrict it to an hour, but we've got so much else to talk about. We haven't got time. We normally do predicted lineups and listen to Welsh Mo's wrong lineup, but we haven't got time for that. So you got away with that segment today, Mo. But thank you very much. Love you all. People in the chat, over, 2,300 close to watching on Twitter. God knows how many on YouTube, on Facebook. Like, subscribe, join the Anfield Index footballing community, Liverpool footballing community. Subscribe to the rest of the panel on their platforms as well. They all talk great and tweet great, and some write great. And yeah, it's been another episode. We love you all. Peace, love, and tranquility. Up the mighty Reds. Take care.